Well guys, welcome to another boat update. On this one, I'm going to talk about some of the aesthetic things that I've done to the boat. No mechanical stuff yet, but I also want to talk about the reason I bought a boat. But first, let's talk about some stuff like this. This is a mask slash light that I built for the boat. You can see I've got one of them installed over there and one of them over there. You can see I've glued a couple little tiki faces up there. I kind of like it. I mean, you know, little things. It's the little details and stuff that make this feel like it could eventually be a home. What other things have I done since I saw you last? I don't know. I hung a fruit basket. That's kind of nice. I added a barometer. Some folks out there told me I should get one to maybe be able to predict when the fish are going to bite more accurately. We'll see about that. The back of the boat, I started adding some tiki accents, or bamboo accents I should say. You see I got some left over there, and that too is going to kind of hopefully turn this boat into just another boat to my boat instead. You know, I want this to be an expression of me. You know, like everywhere I look, I want to see stuff that reflects the Kontiki name. Why did I buy a boat? Well, I'm going to start with why do I make videos? And that started because I left New York in December of 2000, and I left lots of friends up there, all my friends practically, I mean with a handful of exceptions that live down here, and it was me leaving my way of life, you know, my childhood, my neighborhood that I knew, everything that was familiar to me, I was leaving. And I don't know, perhaps it was like a way of trying to keep in touch with people that I was leaving behind, and my childhood, which I was leaving behind. But I wanted to make videos and share them with the people that I was leaving, just as a way of saying, you know, hey, I'm still here, you know, I'm not gone completely. And I thought, you know, if my friends all made videos too, and I could see their life, it'd be a way of me just kind of holding on to the past a little bit, perhaps. I don't know. I don't mean to psychoanalyze myself, but that's what I imagine was the motivation for me to make videos. And you know, occasionally I would do some cool artistic stuff or whatever, and I wanted to share it with them. And the red kayak that some of you may know that kind of made me noticed on YouTube was the pinnacle, I guess, of it, because it's like, you know, it was an artistic expression. It was fishing on a budget. It was all like it was a niche without me trying to find one. It kind of happened, as life does sometimes. And I realized this. I realized that it wasn't just going to be my friends seeing it. Just like when I had an old car back up in New York, and this thing was painted like, if you remember the old TV show, The Partridge Family, remember the bus? You know, I had painted my car like that with a just a brush, not a spray brush either, and not an airbrush, just with, you know, a bristle kind of thing, you know, lots of masking tape, and it was so crazy, but you know, it was an idea me and my friend Rhett had. Hi Rhett. And it was so nuts. I was like, I got to do this. I got to do it. There's nothing for it, you know. But when I did it, I realized it wasn't just for Rhett and myself. It was for everybody, because when you drive that thing down the streets, everybody's going to see it. And I was a little nervous about it, and like, oh, what am I doing, you know? But the reaction I got from people was awesome. You know, strangers would come up to me and be like, dude, that car is so awesome, you know? And I'm like, really? I mean, it's, you know, it's outrageous, that's for sure. But it was amazing how you know, I could be in a bad mood and I'd go to the store just for a pack of cigarettes or whatever it was, And you know, somebody would stop me and engage me in a conversation about the car, and next thing you know, I was smiling and I was happy. It was the power of my artwork. It was amazing to how it would bring that out in people. So, before I start rambling too much, the kayak felt the same way. It was a neat thing for my friends up in New York, but it was also something that I knew that everybody could see because I was putting these videos on YouTube. So I made the first Poor Man's Fishing Kayak video in a format that anybody could appreciate, you know, even if you didn't know me. And some friends of mine started, you know, when I would tell them about it, you know, they'd go to YouTube and they'd watch the video and they'd get back to me and they'd be like, dude, you have like, you know, a few thousand views on that video. That's pretty crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I mean, who are these people that are watching, you know? I had no idea how the search engines worked or the analytics of YouTube and all that technical nonsense. All I knew was that I had something cool that I wanted to share with my friends and possibly the world. I had no idea that the world would be watching, to be honest. But then some folks said, one guy in particular, Mr. Phelps, great artist, friend of mine who lives over here in St. Pete, he saw the video and he was like, dude, you should be getting paid for that. And I mean, my initial reaction was like when I would go to the beach and I would make sand sculptures, people would occasionally walk up and be like, man, do you do that for a living? And I'm like, do I make sand sculptures for a living? Really? You know? Okay, no, I don't do that for a living. I took my friend's idea that I could possibly make a few bucks on YouTube with the same grain, you know, like, come on, you know, I'm not gonna possibly make money. And he was like, dude, I'm telling you. And he pushed me to monetize my videos, and it generates some money now, thanks to you guys watching and sharing and, you know, being there, being a part of my life. It was just like the sand sculptures in a way, because when I was at the beach, total strangers again would walk up and talk to me like we were friends, and it blew me away. It's like, you know, if I was just sitting here reading a book, nobody wants to know me, you know, but if I share my gifts of whatever artistic expressions I have, the next thing you know, it breaks the ice between people and brings out the best in folks a lot. And it's an amazing thing. It's so much better than ever getting paid for anything I've ever done in construction or art. Whenever I make money doing something I love, it's unbelievable. You know, I gotta pinch myself. Anyways, that's what it turned into. Nowadays, I'm making a few bucks with this YouTube channel. Not enough to support my house, but enough to make me think, wow, you know, if I ate rice and beans every day and I lived life real simple, I might actually be able to live off of the revenue I make on YouTube. And a crazy idea. I mean, I'm still living a dream that I have yet to wake up from. I don't know if I ever will. I don't know if I'll ever be like, wow, this is real, you know? No, I don't know, but it's starting to feel like it because I'm making this video on my boat right now. And back to my original question that I wanted to address, which is, why did I buy a boat? Well, I like the reaction I got from folks on YouTube and meeting people out here locally on the water, and just a reaction from my friends, and it's almost as if I'd be spitting in life's face if I didn't take the opportunity and try to make something out of this YouTube channel, or whatever you call it. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all in. So I'm going to build. I'm not going to build. I'm going to make or buy a boat, and I'm going to live on it. Wouldn't that be crazy? And at first, I didn't know what I was going to buy. Maybe just a houseboat. I saw some some shanties that float, you know, that people had on rivers, and I thought, that is the coolest thing. I mean, what a cool existence. And it went from that to maybe a sailboat, to maybe a pontoon boat, like a pontoon or tri-hull boat, whatever they call them, I don't know, to where I am now. And how I got here was, I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this seriously, I have to do some research. I want to see what it's like at a liveaboard marina. I mean, they would have to allow pets, because I'm going to bring my dogs with me one way or another, even if they drive me nuts, which they might eventually, be in such a confined space. But I wanted to talk to people and just do my research. And I said to myself, Marty, don't get emotionally attached. You know, when you start shopping for boats, don't look at something and say, oh my God, I want it, I want it, I want it, and, you know, and go nuts. And of course, what happens, I see an ad on Craigslist, and the ad read that it's in perfect running and aesthetic condition. It's at a pet-friendly marina. I'm like, I gotta check this out. And I mean, I had gone back to the ad several times over the course of a month, and I knew I couldn't afford it. But one day I decided, you know what, I'm going to call the guy up and see, maybe he lives on it. Maybe I can go and talk to him and get some insight about what it's like to live on a boat. And I did just that. And he was very persistent. He was a good salesman. So much so that I actually bought the boat despite the fact that it doesn't run. Yeah. But I got the boat for almost half of what he had it listed for. So I don't feel like I was a complete fool. And it got me in. The boat is in a nice pet-friendly marina. It's already on the water. The transition to that was a piece of cake. It had recently gotten the bottom painted. Everything was in really nice shape. Again, I told the guy, I said, I don't have that much money, and he negotiated it down so far that I thought, well, I can do this right now if I give him every single dollar I got. And it's a way of committing myself to this channel and this life of being a YouTube creator. It's like I'm taking it to the next level, in a sense, you know. I'm not treating it as a side job. I want to do this full time. I don't want to get rich necessarily. I mean, it would be it'd be wonderful, of course. But more than that, I just want to be happy, because, you know, I worked construction for years and years. I thought to myself, what am I going to do? You know, when I get hurt, or when I get too old, or how am I going to live? You know, there's no retirement, no pension, no plans for the future. I mean, I've always been a guy that does things now. I don't care about later, you know? I don't care about, I don't care if I have no money for Friday, as long as I have money for Thursday. It's Wednesday right now, and that's all I care about. You know, it's like savings, you know, the future, whatever. And I let 10 years go by working for the same company I'm working for now, and they've been wonderful. And my relationship with them is pretty awesome, which is why I've been with them for so long. But at the same time, it's, you know, I've reached the plateau of where I can be realistically. I think my boss has probably been very generous with me, beyond perhaps what I'm worth. You know, I mean, I do great work, I'm meticulous, but in construction sometimes you just got to bang things out. So I don't know. I think perhaps it was time. It was just time for me to do something different. So I wound up buying the boat, and here I am. The boat doesn't run. It's not quite ready for me and the dogs. And I don't really know. You know, I'm at that fork in the road right now in life, where I've got terrestrial life, which is life as I've known it forever, since I've been born, you know? And then we've got the boat life, which is unclear and cloudy and rainy and scary. I don't know, you know? It's something I want, but a lot of times, you know, you don't know what you want until you actually do it, and then you're like, is this what I really want? I don't know. I think so. I mean, I dig this. I dig sharing with you guys. And it's gone way beyond sharing with my friends up in New York. And, you know, time will tell. I think I can picture myself doing this. I really could. The house, selling my house is going to be really, really difficult. I can't rent it. I don't want to rent it. It's got too many issues, that house. And I'm upside down on it because I bought it in 2005. I'm going to have a real hard time getting rid of my house. So that's slowing my process of moving onto the boat. But that's fine. It gives me more time to get the boat ready, which I plan to go ahead with. But, you know, a lot of folks ask me, are you going to do offshore fishing and this and that? No, not really. I mean, this is my my kayak chariot. That's what this is. I don't mean to take this out and go fishing off of this for, you know, big pelagics are they called? You know, this like sailfish and tuna and stuff, you know. It'd be fun, but it'd be expensive. And I'm not there yet. You know, if I made enough, you know, revenue someday, you know, if I had 100,000 subscribers and subscribers like you who actually watch my stuff, you know, not just, you know, folks who subscribe and never watch again. I mean, a lot of things have to happen. I have to provide the right content. If all those things fall into place and I make enough revenue someday where I can take this for a trip, like one great idea I had was to go around the Great Loop. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I would start in Tampa, go down to either the Keys or down by, where is it? Port Charlotte, perhaps? Somewhere down there you can get through these canals that'll take you towards Lake Okeechobee and then out the other side of the state, out of Stewart, I think it is. And then you go north up the Intercoastal Waterway all the way up to New York. I can go visit my friends with my boat, and then from there go across to the Great Lakes and then down the Mississippi. I can stop and fish with people the entire way, all my subscribers who live near the water or whatever, who want to meet me and go kayak fishing with me. I can drop an anchor, undo my kayak, and go fishing with people along that Great Loop, which would be a great experience. It'd be something that I would remember forever. And these are the things that I hope to do someday with this channel. You know, to be a true liverboard on this boat, and to continually go out on new adventures and learn new things about kayak fishing and meet new great people. That is pretty much everything in a nutshell. That's where I am up to date right now. You know, I've told you where I started back in New York, and I mean, I moved to Florida for new opportunities. I lived up there for 27 years. I had enough. The snow and the traffic and the hustle and bustle. Yeah, you know, quick thing, my grandfather, who I lived with for a while, I remember he was 90 and I was 18. And I lived with him for a few more years until he finally passed. But it was a great experience. And I remember him telling me stories about seeing all the way to Idlewild Airport, which was, it's now JFK, right? And he's like, yeah, it used to be cow farms over there and you could see all the way to the airport. You know, and now it's high-rise buildings and projects, and you know, it's so congested. So when I moved to Tampa, I remembered my grandfather's stories about seeing cow farms, and I see them now in Tampa. And over the past 15 years that I've lived here, I've seen the progression in population and traffic, and you know, soon it might be time for me to move on again and look for something different again. Instead of living in the same place my entire life and never experiencing new things, this channel and these experiences, this boat, or whatever boat I wind up with beyond this, you know, who knows where the river of life will take me. I'm willing to go there. I'm happy to share it with you guys. And, you know, when this rain and heat is finally gone, which I'm ready for, it's been a rough, wet summer so far here in Florida. But when it starts to get a little cooler, I'm going to spend a little bit of money and effort and time on getting this boat running. Allegedly, the motors run. I think my batteries need to be replaced. The carburetors probably need a good cleaning or refurbishing, replacement perhaps. there's a few little things that I got to put together. Like the water pump was non-existent when I first got the boat, and I had to jug in my water if I wanted fresh water. Now I can fill it up here at the dock with the hose, and since I added a water pump, the sinks work and the shower works, and you know, that's great progress. So hopefully we'll make more progress. Hopefully this answers a lot of the questions that I've been getting about you know, you bought a boat, what's up, what are you doing, or you know, what's the deal. Now you know. And sorry this quick boat update turned into such a long-winded boat update, but you asked, and there you go. So hopefully if this rain clears, I'll be able to get out there, do a little more fishing, and you know, I don't know. I appreciate you guys being here. I really do, and I hope that you stick around and stay tuned for the next boat update. Till then, cheers, tight lines, take care.